Shadows over Stardew. Chapter 1. It was a quiet autumn evening in Stardew Valley, the kind of night where the mist clings to the fields and the rustling of dried leaves is the loudest sound you hear. The stars blinked above, and the air was crisp with the promise of the coming frost. In a small office above the barn, Detective Cal Briggs leaned back in his creaky chair, his feet up on the desk and his fingers wrapped around a cold bottle of parsnip ale. The bottle was a cheap local brew, but tonight it tasted more bitter than usual. He'd left the hustle of the big city behind for this quiet farm life, thinking the solitude would ease his mind. He was wrong. Stardew Valley, with its serene countryside, had its own secrets. Secrets that had a way of clawing their way to the surface when you least expected them. And tonight, it was going to be one of those nights. The knock on his door was sharp and sudden. "Detective Briggs," the voice came from the other side. Cal sighed and stood up, tossing the bottle aside and straightening his jacket. The visitor's voice was familiar. Gus, the owner of the Startrop saloon. Gus was usually the easygoing type, never too quick to ask for help, but the edge in his tone tonight made Cal's instincts flare. Cal opened the door. Gus was standing there, his face drawn tight with concern. His usual jovial demeanor was gone, replaced with something darker. "Cal," Gus began, running a hand through his thinning hair, "I need your help. It's about the saloon." Cal arched an eyebrow. "Go on." Gus stepped inside, glancing over his shoulder nervously. "Someone's been messing with my business. More than once now. Food shipments have gone missing. Deliveries tampered with. And I think someone's trying to ruin me." The big man sounded rattled. Gus wasn't one to lose his temper easily, and the idea of someone sabotaging his saloon didn't sit right. "Sabotage?" Cal leaned against the desk. "Are we talking about theft or something more subtle?" Gus shifted uneasily. "I've caught it twice now. The food's there, but it's different. The vegetables, the meat, they've been cut or moved around like someone's been going through it, and I don't know who. The worst part is, it's always the high-end stuff, like someone knows exactly what to hit." "So, someone knows your business," Cal murmured, "and that someone's using your deliveries against you." Gus nodded. "I don't want the whole town knowing. The last thing I need is panic. But I'm telling you, Cal, this is personal." The detective exhaled slowly. It was a familiar story, someone trying to control something from the shadows, using fear and subtlety to break someone down. He wasn't sure why, but he had a feeling this wasn't just about some bad apples. "I'll take the case," Cal said, grabbing his fedora from the coat rack. "I'll need to ask around. You stay quiet about this for now. Trust me, I'll figure out who's behind it." Chapter 2. The Investigation. Cal started his investigation with the people who knew the saloon best, those who had their hands in the dirt and the drinks of Stardew Valley. First stop, Pam. The bus driver was usually at the saloon late into the night, drinking away the memories of a hard life. Cal found her at her usual corner, slouched in her chair, a half-empty mug of beer in front of her. "Pam," Cal began, sitting down across from her, "Gus says there's been some funny business at the saloon. Any idea who might be behind it?" Pam narrowed her eyes, taking a long gulp of a drink, before grumbling. "Not my problem, Cal. Folks come and go. You don't gotta worry about what's happening in the back. Maybe it's just some rookie messing with the place." Cal's eyes locked on hers. "You know something, Pam. You're not this tight-lipped unless you've seen something." Pam set the mug down with a sigh. "Look, I heard something, but if you're looking for trouble, you'll find it. Something's been up with the deliveries, yeah, but if you ask me, it's the new folks, the ones who just showed up in town, too quiet, too neat. You know the ones I'm talking about." Cal frowned. "New folks? I thought you were talking about Gus's regulars." She shook her head. Nah, it's the quiet ones, the ones who know how to stay out of the way. But they're watching. I'd watch your back. Next, Cal visited Shane, the disgruntled worker from Jojamart, who always seemed to have a chip on his shoulder. He found Shane nursing a beer at the bar, scowling at the empty glasses scattered around him. Shane, talk to me, Cal said, sitting down. Gus is in trouble. I'm guessing you've got some idea who's behind it. Shane's gaze darkened. Yeah, I got some idea, but I don't know for sure. Jojacor's been sniffing around for months. They've been pressuring Gus, pushing him to sell the saloon. And when that doesn't work, they start pushing harder. So you think this sabotage is connected to Jojacor? Cal asked, tapping his fingers on the bar. Shane grimaced. Might be. They've got their hands in everything, and if Gus doesn't sell soon, they'll find a way to take over the whole valley. Hell, they've already got folks at Jojamart eating out of their hands. Chapter 3. The Breakthrough. Cal's next stop was the Secret Woods, an overgrown patch of forest on the outskirts of town, where the whispers of strange happenings always seemed to linger. It was there that he met Leah, the reclusive artist who spent most of her time painting and living in solitude. She seemed calm, but when Cal asked her about the missing deliveries, her face flicked with a mix of concern and defensiveness.
I don't know much,
Leah said, glancing away.
But I did see something strange. One night, not long ago, I saw someone near Gus's barn. They were moving around in the dark, sneaking like they didn't want anyone to know they were there.
Who was it? Cal pressed. Leah hesitated.
I couldn't say for sure. It was too dark. I wasn't close enough. But they were tall. Someone familiar with the land, I think.
Cal didn't believe it was as simple as some random thief. Whoever was behind this knew exactly where to strike, and when. The sabotage had been planned too carefully. Chapter 4. The Revelation. The breakthrough came when Cal visited the old abandoned saloon building that had burned down years ago under mysterious circumstances. He found the remnants of charred wood and old blueprints for the new saloon Gus had been planning, but something was off. The blueprints were signed by someone from Jojacor. Cal's stomach turned. The puzzle pieces started to fit. Someone in town had been working for Jojacor, sabotaging Gus's saloon in order to force him out so they could swoop in and take over. The mastermind? None other than Clint, the blacksmith. Clint had been desperate to get out from under Jojacor's thumb and had turned on them in an attempt to sabotage their plans, but in doing so, he lost himself. So paranoid and afraid as he was now, sabotaging the town's only chance for independence. Chapter 4. The Confrontation. Cal found Clint near the old smithy late at night. The blacksmith was trembling, his hands raw from working the forge, and his eyes wild.
It wasn't supposed to end like this, Cal,
Clint muttered.
I didn't mean to hurt Gus. I thought I could just scare them off. Get Jojacorp out of here. It'd all be better. I didn't know it'd go this far.
Cal stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. You went too far, Clint. You tried to fight back against a giant, but you didn't think about who'd get hurt in the process. Clint nodded, tears welling up in his eyes.
I never meant to hurt anyone. I just couldn't stand the thought of Jojacorp running everything. Stardew Valley was never meant to be part of their machine.
Chapter 5. The Resolution. Gus was grateful, but the damage had been done. Clint would need to face the consequences of his actions. However, with the truth now out in the open, Gus knew he had allies in town. The community rallied around him, and together they exposed Jojacorp's plans to buy up the valley and take control. In the end, Jojacorp's influence waned, and the valley stayed free. Gus's saloon flourished once more, and Clint, though broken, found a way to make amends. Cal stood at the edge of his farm, watching the sun dip behind the hills, casting long shadows across the land. Another case solved. another mystery in Stardew Valley put to rest. But as the wind whispered through the trees, he couldn't help but feel like the shadows would always be waiting, just beyond the light. For now, though, it was quiet, and that was all Cal Briggs needed. The end.
This has been another episode of Tales from the Consoleverse, written by AI Chat GPT and read by yours truly, the Off-Rail Gamer. We're going to be back tomorrow with our final episode of the week. It's Klonoa. I'll catch you there. I hope. Toodaloo.